So if you take an $18 subscription and you say they churn at 10%, that means they last for 10 months, right? Which means that the gross is $180, right? So if you said you had a product with $180, and I said well, you can give them 9% or $9 off on that, that doesn't sound like much. But if I advertise, hey, 50% off on your first month, or even first month free kind of thing, you can create an offer that looks very compelling when you look at the monthly price. But if you know on the back end that you're going to get those people 10 months, it's a pretty small percentage.
Today, everyone, I have the honor of speaking with Nathan Vasquez, the co-founder and the CEO of Pipsticks.com, which is a monthly subscription stationery brand where they believe stickers are fun, they're magical, and they make the world a happier place. I will say this, because I had to do a lot of deep research on Nathan after I was introduced to him. Their website, their ads, even they have their own sticker manifesto, which I thought was so awesome. They embody this from top to bottom. And I was actually introduced to Nathan by Sarah Williams, who I interviewed episode 62. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Sarah is a wonderful communicator and very talented, where she talks about building six-figure a month subscription boxes. And I had asked her, Nathan, right after we finished the podcast, I said, who is the most inspiring brand you feel I should talk to? And she's like, Nathan Vasquez. And I'm like, all right, cool. And so I'm glad we were able to talk here, man, that she connected us. So you must be a great and talented guy, just based on Sarah's words.
Thank you so much. It's super exciting to be here. I'm thrilled to join you guys. And yeah, Sarah is she's too generous by far. But it's good to be recommended, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and let's kind of pull it back a little bit, because I have done my research and looking into Pipsticks and everything that you all sell, and I know I just briefly listed it off. Can you kind of explain to everybody the core of it? I probably butchered it, and you probably could do it a little bit better. But what is Pipsticks exactly?
Yeah, sure. So Pipsticks, at its core, is a sticker company. My wife started the company back when I was still in finance. I worked for a big bank as an options trader for 15 years in Citibank in New York and London. She's a graphic designer and was a stay-at-home mom looking to do something to keep herself going and keep herself active and in the job industry. So she started Pipsticks as a curation model. So she would buy stickers from various suppliers. Maybe it was Miss Grossman's, maybe it was Paper House, maybe it was just somebody on AliExpress. Put them together, curate them, and ship them out as a subscription. She did that for a while, and there was a point in my career at the bank where it made sense to maybe look for something different and leave the bank after 15 years. So we moved back out to California, and I started to maybe look for a job and probably self-sabotage that career hunt. I was maybe done with the bank after 15 years, and started helping her out kind of on the side. And after a couple of months, I thought, this has got some legs. I think I got a chance at this, and let's give it a try. So we gave ourselves sort of targets year by year. Paid ourselves basically nothing for the first couple of years, but kind of made it work and hit the targets, and we went off and running. So it started as curation, but after a couple of years, my wife Maureen, she's kind of the face of the brand, the voice of the brand. She's also a graphic designer, and she started kind of designing some of her own stickers and inserting some of their own stickers in the subscription. And that grew, and those were by far the most popular stickers. Everybody liked them the best. And over time, we built up our capacity to do design and production and printing until one day, every single sticker in the subscription was a Pipsticks original designed manufactured sticker.
Wow.
And when we did that, it all kind of opened up. We started selling those stickers as individual stickers, and the subscription kind of, it's kind of just kept growing from there. So at the core of it, we are a sticker subscription, monthly stickers for kids and for adults. But, we've expanded into one-offs and stationery and notebooks and notepads and washi tape and sticker collection books and, all the bits and pieces that go along with your stickers.
So something I found really interesting, and you just said it, is for adults too. Because to me, I just remember growing up as a kid, I loved stickers, like it was a ton of fun. But I can't remember in the last adult years of my life, like getting into stickers, but there's clearly a market for it. Did she know that already? Or did you find that out did you go in with kids intentionally and then it expanded, or did you know that already?
That's exactly what it was. We have 4 kids, all
Okay.
sort of tightly coupled in age. Right now they're between 8 and 13, but at the time they were pretty little. And her idea was to do this as a club, for kids, really for moms to buy themselves, half an hour of time from their kids to occupy the kids, give them stickers, but then also give them something to use the stickers on, so they weren't ending up on your couch or your door or whatever it was. And we did that, and it was pretty successful. But we quickly realized that a ton of the people buying the stickers were adults buying them for themselves. And Mo had always been a huge sticker fan in the '80s, into sort of Lisa Frank and the colorful bright stickers and sticker collecting. It was part of her childhood. And she thought, well, she kind of likes them too. So we launched what we call the Pro Club. So we have the Kids Club and the Pro Club. And it's rapidly taken off. So at this point right now, it's significantly easier to advertise and to market to somebody to buy stickers for themselves versus for their kid, at least in a subscription. So
Wow.
we're probably 2/3 of our subscriptions are pro subscriptions that go to adults, and 1/3 are kid subscriptions. But I don't have numbers on this, but I would bet you at least half of the kid subscriptions are going to adults as well. So it's the vast majority of adults into crafting, scrapbooking, planners, notebooks, journaling. It's sort of the craft industry. It's a big,
Do,
big market.
that's pretty. I mean, that's pretty. 2/3, and then maybe even more, just to the
Definitely more.
adults. So,
Definitely more. Yeah.
do you think it's because, like, I don't know? I think of, I always think of like Disney. I mean, anytime I watch a Disney movie or I go to Disney or do anything like that, I just feel like a kid again. The nostalgia of it. Is that why you think that? Like, what's your hunch and why adults are purchasing more
Yeah,
than?
I think there's two bits to it. I think the nostalgia is definitely a huge part of it. And like we just did a collaboration with Care Bear. And we launched Care Bear, and Care Bear wanted us to do their new artwork, and we did their new artwork, and everybody loved it. But every comment on the Facebook feed or every email was, I want the '80s Care Bear artwork, I want the old artwork, I want the classic artwork.
Ah.
So yeah, so then we launched a new set of artwork, got the new license, and launched the '80s artwork, and it sold even better. So nostalgia is a huge part of it. There's a ton of women in the 20 to 60-year-old range, and a lot of them are sort of my age in the 40s, and they're into the '80s nostalgia, Lisa Frank, Care Bears, all that kind of stuff. There's
Hmm.
also a market out there that's just into the crafting, into the art, and it's a way that you can be artistic with a different set of artistic talents. You don't have to be a sculptor or a painter. You can use the stickers. You can decorate your notebooks. You can decorate your planners, and there's a huge population of people that like to do that and share that online.
So you just mentioned, so with Care Bears, because that's a
Yeah.
really big brand. I know that Sarah had mentioned, she mentioned you had licensing or deals or something with Hello Kitty, My Little Pony as well. I didn't hear about the Care. So you have Care Bears too. How? Two questions. First of all, like, what does that process look like? And then second, how valuable do you believe that has been to your brand?
Yeah, so that's brand new for us right now. We
Okay.
just started that. So we launched our first collaboration with Care Bears. I want to say March, maybe it was February, and our second collaboration with Care Bears just like a week ago Monday.
Oh
So
wow.
this is brand new, and I may have to scold Sarah a bit. The Hello Kitty, that's a little bit of a secret. So maybe we're letting something out of the bag there.
Oh
But
no, I'm
we are
sorry.
we are. No, that's all right. That's all right. Sometime end of summer, beginning of the fall, we're gonna launch a new subscription, in collaboration with Hello Kitty. So right now, I don't have any real firm numbers, but Hello Kitty is a gigantic brand with
Yeah.
massive followers. I'm hoping that it can be a huge boost to us. The thing that Care Bears did that was so phenomenal was, Care Bears didn't drive new traffic to us so much, didn't bring us in new customers, but it took all those customers that we had, and a ton of people were super interested in buying $100 box of Care Bears sticker and stationery. So took those lifetime values of all of our existing customers and just
Mhm.
cranked them up a little bit. And doesn't take you don't have to have a huge number of people spending an extra bucks, that extra $100 in one month to make an impact on your LTV, which certainly helps in all the marketing efforts.
So, one thing I've noticed is you have multiple packages for the subscriptions, and then you also have the individual, like you were just saying. How do you How do you see those individuals impacting overall LTV? Do you see a lot of people going back after a month, for example, and then adding more of what they already just got or something from a past box? How do you see that
Abs-
impact LTV?
Absolutely. I mean, and that was one of our big realizations when we started doing our own products was, we had a subscription, and people loved it, right? And my wife is the voice of the brand. She's the face of the brand. She's like low key sticker famous, right? And
The
people
sticker
trust her.
queen.
The sticker queen, exactly, right? And people trust her. They trust her opinions. They trust her judgments. They like her curation. They love the brand. And we were selling them a single sticker subscription for, I think it was $14.95 a month at that time.
Mhm.
And then we were waiting till next month and then selling it to them again. And they really liked Pipsticks. And we figured that, hey, if they love Pipsticks, why don't we give them another opportunity to buy something else?
Mm.
And I don't think we saw really hardly anybody stopping their subscriptions or replacing them with the individuals.
Ah.
The subscriptions are still a better value, right? You get a discount versus buying them all at wholesale or at retail. Pardon me. So yeah, it absolutely increases the LTV. The people come back and they buy the subscription, they share them, then they buy the four of them that they love that month. They'll buy one for themselves, one for their friend, one for their sticker keeper for their collection. We have a ton of buyers who are really excited about the brand and buy a lot more than just the subscription every month.
You mentioned that's amazing, and I'm glad we're pulling this out because we have a lot of subscription boxers in our community, and one of those things is how do you start to increase LTV outside of just the box in and of itself. You mentioned though, you said you started with. Did you start with one subscription and then move to multiple tiers and packages like you have now?
Yeah, we started with one kid subscription. I think we started in two sizes. We had the petite and the classic size, um, and then we added on the pro subscription in the two sizes when we saw the demand for the adult stickers. And just recently, we used to have what we called a booster box, which was a one-off monthly product of washi tape, stationery, notebooks, sort of sticker adjacent stationery products that we would produce some limited number every month, and people could buy. And just 2 or 3 months ago, we turned that into a subscription as well. So now we've added on the stationery subscription as well as a higher price point box rather than the stickers.
And so I saw pricing wise, what do those run low to high between those packages?
Yeah, so and there's a deal if you buy them all, but the standard package is 17.95, and the petite is a little bit lower than that. And then the stationary box, depends upon if you look at the shipping or not the shipping, but it's in the $50 to $60 a month range.
What I saw one on there, there was like $95 a month. Is
Right. So that's
that
the
is the
Care
big
Bears.
one?
That's the single. That was the drop that we did. So what we're doing with these
Oh.
licensed products is those are not a subscription right now.
Mm.
We produce the Care Bears products. We stick them all in the box. Then we drop the box as a single one-time limited edition box. Everybody gets excited. They buy all those, and then when we run out of the boxes, then we'll launch the individuals as individual stickers. So the $99 that's a one-off box.
Okay.
In our next launch, we haven't done it yet, but starting with the next Care Bears box, as well as with our subscriptions, we're also going to be adding limited editions. So starting in August or September this year, there's going to be some stickers in the subscription that you can only get in the subscription. So that's as a extra way to sort of reward the customer, give them something they can't get anywhere else, get them excited about the subscription. There's going to be some limited editions in these things going forward, which should increase the excitement around that.
That's amazing. That's great for cash injection. I really like that. I'm a huge fan of limited edition releases, just to create that excitement, re-engage the super fans. I think that's brilliant. When you moved, let me ask this: when you started single, you moved to multiple. If you're talking to someone right now that they have like one option and you've been there and now you have multiple, what's the impact of having multiple that you've seen? Like good, bad, same, like by having those different options?
Yeah, I mean, for us, it was fantastic, but I think it really depends upon what your product is. I mean, we have people who have 10 or 15 subscriptions, right? Because they love stickers, and we definitely have people who will buy all three of our subscriptions. We give them a discount if they buy more than one. But if I was selling something that was more replenishment and less curation or less discovery, if I'm selling razor blades, right? I don't think you're not going to get twice as many people buying the same number of people buying twice as many razor blades because they're consumed. So I think it really depends
Mhm.
upon what the product is. If you can sell somebody something that they can use in addition, and they love your stuff, you're going to sell more. But if it's a this or that, then you're probably just
Mhm.
going to be chopping yourself, not in half, but you're going to be splitting up into different bits. So you got to make sure that the second box, the new product, is something additional, something new, something that they want, something that supplements or enhances what they already have.
And within that, so within these different packages, do you have like on the back end wise, do you have any like upsells that you do to like help them increase that AOV of the box that they're going through?
Yeah, we do. We upsell. We upsell. We have sticker keepers, which is imagine a cross between sort of a 1980s trapper keeper and like a baseball collecting folder. So we have sticker keepers. We have sticker books. We have the inserts that you can put in the sticker keepers. We do all of that, but most of our improvements to the LTV of the customer, they just come via email for the most part. I mean, we do what we can on the website, but mostly it's just a really robust email campaigns. We send out constant emails to everybody. Here's the new drop. Be the first one to get this. New stickers are here. Deals here, specials here and there, that kind of stuff.
Wow. And right now, and I don't know if you mind sharing this, between all of your different subscriptions, like how many ballpark range ish active subscribers do you have?
Yeah, that's fine. We'll do about 17,000 this month.
Wow.
And that's sort of a steadily, slowly increasing thing this year. This right now kind of all depends upon what Facebook CPAs are as to whether or not you're how much you're beating the churn by in any given month.
Yeah. What kind of average churn do you see?
So we see a churn. It'll vary, but overall in the sort of 9% range. If it gets up to 10, I'm kind of unhappy. If it gets down to 8, I'm pretty pumped. But
Okay.
that's across the full lifetime of the product. The churn is obviously much steeper over the first 1 or 2 months. So you see a big chunk of everybody drop after month 1, and then after month 2, and then a lot of people will last a very 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 long time after that. So it all nets out at about 10%, 9 or 10%.
Okay. Okay. And do you guys offer any like just to get them in the gates? Do you do any entry offer to get
Yeah,
someone in?
all the time, all the time. I
Okay.
mean, if you look at the LTV of just a subscription, right? So if you take an $18 subscription and you say they churn at 10%, that means they last for 10 months, right? Which
Hmm.
means that the gross is $180, right? So if you said you had a product with $180, and I said, well, you can give them 9% or $9 off on that. That doesn't sound like much, but if I advertise, hey, 50% off on your first month, or even first month free kind of thing, you can create an offer that looks very compelling when you look at the monthly price. But if you know on the back end that you're going to get those people for 10 months, it's a pretty small percentage. There's always the people you got to be careful. You offer the first month free, you're going to get a lot of people that jump in and then drop right away. So you want to be
Mm.
you want to be sensible about it. So first month 50%, or first 2 months, or first 3 months 33% off. Deals like this can be pretty compelling as long as you safeguard yourself on the bottom end. With all things with the subscription, the trick is the cash flow, right? So
Yep.
depending upon what sort of CPAs you're looking at, you have to be very careful because uh, we tend to pay more for a new customer right away than I get back in month 1. So you wanna be sure that you're not breaking your cash flows. But as long
Yep.
as the cash flow works out, you're good to offer what look like really aggressive offers in the first month or two, just to get the people in the door, get them excited, and then once they're in, if they like the product, they stay.
Wow. What kind of do you mind me asking what kind of CPAs you see on on your current AOV?
Yeah, so I kind of ignore the in-platform CPAs. Sort of post
Yep.
iOS changes, the number within Facebook is it's only relative to itself. So
Yep.
I look at my blended new customer CPA, right? So I'll
Yep.
look at not my blended conversions, but my new customers. So on a given month, any customer that's purchased for the first time and has never purchased before, that's the denominator, and the numerator is my total ad spend across all my platforms, right? If I can get a blended new customer CPA, if it's $40, I want to spend a lot more. If it's 50, I want to slow things down. And if I can get around $45, that works for me. And our cohorts are such that that's a break even gross somewhere between month 2 and month 3. And if the subscribers last 10 months, and I can bring in more on top of that from upsells, that works out for us.
Just have to stop here really fast. That is I just finished a podcast earlier this morning that we had to do on like tons of stuff. We're talking about numbers, and you have to understand these things. Anyone listening, like you have to understand these things to be able to scale and grow predictably. Like if Nathan didn't know what his CPA needs to be, just knowing what your AOV is. I mean, you're upside down in month one. It's is what you're saying, and it makes sense.
We are,
But
yeah.
by month 2 to 3, if you're at the break even, that gives you this confidence to be able to say, okay, this is where we can hover at. That most people think like they see all these ads that are like, here's how I run like an 8.3 ROAS, and you get all these like super vanity driven ones, and you don't think about the fact that the products are all different, and subscription has a higher LTV, and you have to take that into consideration. Something that I'm just a huge fan of taking time to consider is like the math of it. So many people don't. They just let their emotions get in there and they're like, oh, like my average order value is, let's call it $30 and I'm spending 45. I'm upside down. Emotions get the best. Shut everything off. And it's like, no, you have to think of your business model. Like there's the churn rate and then there's also the LTV, and you've taken that into consideration. That's great.
Yeah,
Do
and
you,
six or 7 years ago, I could get that $10 or $15 CPA, and we could be flat or even positive on the first month. It just doesn't work anymore. And then on top of that, as you start scaling, CPAs go up. So if you want to hit any kind of scale, you need to really understand in a very confident way with what those cash flows are going to look like, right? Otherwise, you have no ability to scale whatsoever, right? And then it becomes a question of being confident in the LTVs, being sure that the customers that you're buying are not fundamentally different than your old customers, and then really understanding the cash flow, because you can end up tying up a lot of money, right? I mean, if you look at how much you spend in one month, and you're not break even for 3 or 4 months, well, then you gotta tie up 3 to 4 months, kind of averaged out, and it turns into at least 2+ months of cash. So that those Facebook spend, it's great, but it means you need a lot of working capital to sit there and just manage it.
Yeah. Wow, that's good. That's good. Anyone listening right now, please take the time to figure this stuff out. You have to understand your break evens, and then you have to the cash flow situation, especially in a subscription world. You have to really watch that. Like you can't scale as aggressively because you have to float that gap unless of course you have the cash position or the, whatever the capital you're pulling in for that. No, that's great. I love that. Oh, that's cool. So, was there a moment when you launched this, was there just a moment that things just like took off? Like, and if so, what did that look like? Or was it just gradually growing the whole time?
Now, I think we've never had one thing go viral. We've never had one ad to rule them all. It's always been a grind, a grind, a grind, a grind. But if you can grow 1%, 2% a month, like, stuff compounds, right? So, real growth, like if I could quadruple the business in one month, I would certainly say yes, right? Um, but I'm kind of more interested in growing 2% or 3% every month for 7 years. Like, you do that math, and compounding numbers get really big really fast. So I think it's a lot more sustainable that way as well. So take the big wins if you can get them, but don't expect them. Expect a grind that goes up a couple percent every month, and that's, I think, a real measure of success.
Amen. That's good. That's good. With churn, looking at churn, is there anything that you do to minimize churn?
Yeah, I mean, you try. I mean, there's a lot of things you can play around with churn. You can work on dunning. You can try to get the credit cards that fail to come back. You can try to optimize those first boxes so they get the perfect first box, because really the first month churn is your biggest churn anyways. You can look at the months where churn happens and try to maximize those. But at the end of the day, the best way to minimize churn is just to have a really good product. Is just to spend
Mhm.
all your time and all your energy making sure that the customer just wants what you're selling them again. So, there's always a gimmick. You can always try to decrease this here and bump up that there. But at the end of the day, a good product that people want to buy, that's the best way to combat churn.
That's good. Regarding marketing, um, what would you say your largest new customer acquisition source is?
It's Facebook. I mean, hands
Facebook.
hands down. It's not even close. It's we spend money on Facebook, and then AdWords is maybe 15 to 20% of what we spend on Facebook, and then we're constantly trying to get Bing to work, trying to get TikTok to work, trying to get Pinterest to work, trying to figure out how to scale affiliates. But all those, barely move the needle. So it's like 78% Facebook and 20% AdWords and 2% whatever is the spice of the day.
Okay. Wow. What percentage is email for you?
Well, so that's email's not top of funnel at all, right? So the way
Yep.
I look at it is all of my paid traffic. I try to make it 90% plus is all top of funnel, and by that I mostly mean people who have never purchased. Although in many cases I try to keep out even some of the warm people. So I'll put some budget towards warm people who have seen us before but not purchased. But I try to keep almost all of it to people who have never bought before. And then email drives everything else after that, right? So I just want them in the door to buy something. Subscriptions tend to be the best sort of first purchase for us, but if I can buy somebody just to buy a single sticker, I'm happy for that. I don't care. I don't even look at that, right? So if I look at my CPA and I say I got a $45 blended new customer CPA this month, I don't care what they bought. They could buy our $2 sticker, and I could pay $4 in shipping for them. Doesn't matter to me as long as my cohort stays at $35 on month one. I don't care what they're buying. So
Hmm.
bring them in the door, buy anything, and then come back to them with like super robust, email campaigns. Try to, this is where Mo really shines is she talks to them, she speaks to them. We send out Fan Mail Friday where we give them images of fan mail emails and not emails, snail mails and letters that people write to us, and tell them stories and give them like 3 fun things. And so we try to really give them emails that they find value in at least once a week, and then just hit people constantly with emails. I mean, if I got as many emails as we send, I would think it was crazy. But nobody seems to mind. You can send more and more emails, and as long as they're good emails, the open rates stay high, the click rates
Hmm.
stay high. So that's if I had to keep one asset from the business, I would keep my email list, because that's where all the money comes in the back end. And you pay a couple $1,000 a month for your Klaviyo account. That almost doesn't count compared to paid ad cost.
Wow. When you're talking about you with Fan Mail Friday, I love that. It sounds like you're very in tune with your customers and feedback looping. And something that you say that I think is really cool is you say we rely on feedback, energy, and ideas of our community to make the cutest, high quality, fanciest stickers and stationery around. I'm curious, how do you how do you get ideas and then incorporate those from your how do you involve your community in your product dev?
Yeah, we should have Mo here now for these questions, right? That's really where I like to say that if it's colorful, if it's bright, if it's the voice, if it's fun, she does it, and if it's everything else, I manage it, right? Um, but a lot of what we do is she'll reach out in our Facebook groups. We got a bunch of active Facebook groups with sticker lovers and sticker traders, and she might reach out and say, hey, here's a sticker that we're designing right now. Do you like it better with the red umbrella or the green umbrella? Right, get feedback in that way, get people to sort of buy into that and feel ownership there. Or she might say, hey, looking for ideas for stickers for this Christmas. What are some stickers that you would love to have that you can't get right now? And you'll get hundreds of people that come back with cool ideas of what they love to see, what they love to have. So all the channels, as well as just emails that come in. And then we're lucky in that our product has a pretty short design cycle. So if we get feedback, hey, what we really need is more penguins with scarves, right? We can do that, right? We can ask for that information now, and we can have that in October or November, because it's a nice fast design cycle. We're not coming up with completely new products. We're coming up with new illustrations on existing product types.
That's amazing. It sounds like you guys have done a great job of involving your customers in that. You could tell just by what you just said, and I'm sure Mo could add a lot to how and strategic ways that she's doing it and the team's doing it. But you've involved your customers in a really great way just by those, like posting in there and feedbacking them. It sounds so simple. I'm sure it's not a crazy amount of work to do, but it's valuable and it's impactful. And then it also makes it gets I'm sure it gets people more bought into the brand, like just on board, like to be able to say like, oh, they rolled this out and I was part of one of the people that voted on that to provide that feedback of we should have added more penguins.
Yeah,
um
people feel ownership, and they feel super loyal to the brand. We'll have issues now where we've gone into B2B recently, and we sell at the local mom and pop store, and we'll get somebody who goes to their local store, sees a Pipstick sticker for sale, takes a picture, posts it on Facebook, or sends us an email and says, hey, just check in. Are these guys? Are you sure? Are they okay to be selling these stickers? Is somebody scamming you? What's going on here? So we have people who are so bought into the brand that when they see us in their local store, their local toy store, they're reaching out to try to protect us. So
They're
yeah,
def-
having that loyalty to the brand and to Mo as the voice of the brand is, it's pretty cool to see that. It's pretty exciting because it goes both ways.
I love that. Well, I have five takeaways I have written down here, and I want you to add anything you can to this, Nathan. Five takeaways just from this conversation. Number one, there is a lot of value in an entry point offer for new customer acquisition. You said you absolutely have one, but you have to know your numbers. The second thing is ads and email are the primary drivers, top of funnel, and then email is that back end channel. As soon as they come in, that's where everything else. So ads and email. LTV boosters is number three, meaning you're doing limited edition drops, individual product sales to really inject more LTV in the customers. Number four, you involve your customers really heavily in the journey, so they're bought into the brand and they're defending them. They're defending you, or they're like protective about you, even in store locations. That's amazing. And then number five, and this is the biggest one, it wasn't just like the flip of a switch, this hockey stick moment. You have just been grinding and grinding and grinding, and you need to grind 1 to 3% a month is what will create that compound effect over time, and that's required to grow. Is there anything else you would add to that?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. I think you said it more succinctly and better than I could have. I mean, if I could add one more thing that we probably haven't discussed as much,
Yeah.
excuse me, is I would say that, as the business grows, you're gonna run into troubles, right? Things that stop working. Facebook ads don't work for a while, or what you're selling is not good, or COVID hits and all of a sudden people are not buying brick and mortar,
Mhm.
or they are buying brick and mortar. The other thing I would say to do is when you reach a size where it's appropriate, try to diversify as much as you can, right? So we started out selling subscriptions, and that's great. But as we add on non-subscriptions, that helps, because then when the subscriptions falter, something else is working. We sold stickers, and then we added on washi tape and notebooks. And now we're trying to diversify across channels. So we're trying to get more into B2B, to get more into brick and mortar, to reach more people that way. So inevitably something always goes wrong, and something gets in the way. And it seems like we've been lucky and blessed in that whenever one thing kind of falls down, some other part of the business has been there to kind of step up and take up some of the slack. So I don't think we did it proactively, but in hindsight, having other avenues, having other sales channels, and having other ways to reach the customer has been important, because the things you do today don't always work tomorrow, and you want to be able to move quickly.
That's good. Well, Nathan, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate you and your time. Everybody, you've been listening to the E-Commerce Alley podcast, produced by Dylan Counts behind the scenes, who is also about to be on an episode that you're all going to see very soon. Second time ever. Dylan's always just running things, but now we brought him out from the cave. Thank you for listening to this. Nathan and I are grateful that you joined us today. Whether you're watching on YouTube or not, you should go to alleypodcast.com/YouTube. If you're not part of the E-Commerce Alley Facebook group, what are you doing? Go join it. There's like 4,000-ish of us there. Go to alleypodcast.com/group, and we'll see you in the next episode.